Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina and I am here to give you a brief update today on several things. One is I got two things back from the framer today. I'm so excited about that. Um, I had taken these two items to be framed at Hobby Lobby, and I found a photo frame that I could use for one of them, and it is my Field Mouse Hollow. And this is Field Mouse Hollow. And I love this little picture frame. I think it looks wonderful. I love this bronzy look to the frame. It almost looks like the earth, and looks like a piece of soil, like a tilled soil look. And of course this is a harvest piece, and I just thought that looked very earthy toned with it. It picks up a lot in the tones in the browns that are in the piece, and I just really liked it. And it's an 8x10 and it fit this picture beautifully. And I didn't put a mat in it or anything. I just simply framed it. I wanted it to be a real simple piece that I can put out in that season of the year. You know, it's a seasonal piece. So anyway, there you have it. It really is just a picture frame that I used for that one. So I guess you know what the next one is. I am so excited to show this to you. Several of you have commented how much you couldn't wait to see it. So here's Giggles in the Snow back from the framer. I'm going to show you the frame close up first. I picked this frame for a couple of reasons. This beautiful brownish gold part of the frame matches so perfectly the hair in the children and the goldish brown colors that are in their clothing, like her jacket and some of the trim. And then this gold color here, to me, picked up the more golden color in their hair and clothes. And together, this served for me a mat. And the reason that was so important to me, I mentioned in my last video, is every time I would pick a color for a mat, and look, there are lots of choices for colors, but once I put a mat there, it pulled out that color, whether it be green or blue or brown. It just pulled it out to where you didn't see anything but that color. And I didn't want that. So this frame with this gold trim on the frame, that's not a fillet, it's actually part of the frame, I felt matched the piece beautifully. So I'm going to back up a little bit so I can hopefully show you the whole piece of Giggles in the Snow. I think it's lovely. I'm very pleased with it. So the fun part is I'll be putting my Field Mouse Hollow out tomorrow. I'll be looking around and deciding where I'm gonna put that. Right now it's on my sewing table over there just so I can see it. And then as soon as Thanksgiving is over, then I will put up my Giggles in the Snow. And the beautiful part about it is that because this one is a winter scene, not a Christmas scene, I'll be able to leave this one all the way up through January and possibly February, depending on how long we have cold weather this year. So that'll be fun. I'm very excited about it. Thanks for letting me share that with you. Let's talk just a moment about stitching as well. I was able to stitch my letter B for the AB Singo yesterday. It's on my Sleepy Hollow because it stands for a black horse. And I don't have it to show it to you because it's on my frame right now, my floor stand. And it's over in another section today. I'm stitching at my round table where I have for my guest, because today I had a guest to stitch with me. I'm so excited. I have not visited with this friend since the first year we had COVID in 2020. Not even this round. Um, we have not seen each other, spent time together. We've texted and, sent emails to each other, but not in person. And a lot had happened in our lives, and we wanted to catch up on that. We've both been vaccinated. We've both been very careful about who we hang out with, and so we felt pretty safe. Stitching today, we were, 6 feet apart, um, and then I was working on it. So I will tell you this: I finished the horse. I finished the entire picture. I am now working on the final 3 pieces of border before I have to start back stitching. And then all that will be left for me will be that moon. And the border has some sparkly threads and beads in it. And I'm going to wait and do that last, of course. So my thoughts are that I will need to do a little test stitching to see if my glow in the dark thread's going to look okay by itself, or if I'll have to pair it with something. But my plan is to outline that moon so that this will be a good piece that I can then take with me when I go maybe to my stitching meetups. And I can just do the fill in. I am very hopeful to finish it by Christmas. I'd really love to gift it to my son for Christmas. Don't tell him, but that's what I want to do. So I haven't even looked to see what the letter was for today. I'll go do that in a minute or two. I'll probably work on that this weekend, because for me, the Emporium is tomorrow, which is our bake shop, and I'm excited about it. It looks beautiful. I'm going to try to get there a little early tomorrow and get some pictures of it, just so you can see what I'm talking about. It's such a neat thing. So I'm going to be putting everything up for the night. I'm going to go say good night and head on downstairs and make Coco move over again. Enjoy your stitching, and until I have an opportunity to share with you again, stay safe and well. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. This is Dina. I'm back again. It is Saturday, the 25th of September. So that means a couple of things. One, it means my fundraising event at church is completed as far as the big bake sale. I will tell you that it was slow and steady. We didn't get a mad rush at the door. We didn't have a lot of people in at one time. So it was really easy to keep everybody socially distanced. We only had a couple of people who came in without a mask, and I had to go over and offer them a mask, and they quickly took one and put it on. So nobody gave us a hard time about it. But we sold everything that had been donated to the bakery, and it was a lot. I've got some pictures I'll put in of the room getting started, and then nice and full. But they sold everything but one pie and a few cupcakes. So at the end of the day, when that's all they had left, they took it to the maintenance staff at our church as a thank you for them having to set the tables up and break them back down for us. And I think they were really appreciative of that. So far, we think that the bakery has taken in roughly $9,000 on its own. And then we had a gift from our missions committee at our church, because we had to sponsor the huge event where we couldn't get any money from ticket sales or from booth rentals. And they gave us $8,000, to help offset that loss. So I won't have final numbers until, a couple of weeks, because everybody has to turn in any receipts they have for things they purchased, supplies, that sort of thing. And then we will have contributions hopefully coming in from our church, and checks that are coming in the mail. And some of you contacted me and wanted to send a contribution, and I am so grateful. Thank you for doing that. And I've gotten that information out to you. So We will have a final total probably in about 2 weeks, but right now it looks like we're going to be around the 13,000 mark. Last year our bakery made 11,000, so to get a little bit more this year will just be icing on the cake. That'll be wonderful. It's more than enough to cover our beneficiaries' expenditure that they've already had to make to get the classroom ready for the children in August, and it'll be enough to finish the second room. So this coming Monday, I will be meeting with the CEO and the COO of the Y here in our local area, and the two leaders of our men's ministry team, and a couple of ladies from my executive team of the Emporium to plan the final work day to get that second room redone for them. I'm very excited about that. I can't tell you how happy I am that we're going to get to finish that project for our wonderful learning center in North Hall County for those little children. So that has been a wonderful Friday. It was a long day. I was there from, about 8:45 in the morning, helping everything get set up till 6 o'clock at night. My co-chair came in a bit later and stayed to help them break down. So we kind of split the day that way. And it was a grand success. So my co-chair, who's also a friend of mine named Lynn, and her spouse and my husband and I are going to dinner tonight to celebrate a successful event. And that it's over. Forgive me, it's a lot of work, and we are delighted to have that part behind us in such a wonderful way. So thanks for letting me share that little personal note with you. I have been stitching, and I have been just singly focused stitching because when I get close to a finish, I do that. But there's a whole lot more to this piece. I'm not going to finish it right away. And so I have gotten to a point where I'm comfortable putting it aside so that I can finish my AB Singo because I have to work on Mermaid, and I've got 2 blocks to do, so I got to do at least 200 stitches on Mermaid to finish my blackout for AB Singo, and I'm going to try to get that done today if I can. So I want to show you what I've been working on. Yeah, Sleepy Hollow. I am obsessed. I want to get this finished for my son for Christmas. I really do. So, and I'm loving this piece. I've just fallen in love with it all over again. So I have finished, you can see it's rolled up. I have finished the whole bottom. I'll let you see the back there. I finished the bottom there, and I've adapted the border to go all the way across the bottom because he didn't want the poem. And now I'm having to backstitch. So I backstitched the rest of the tree. I came on across and did the gravestones, and I came up and did the horse's little belly, and I've done that leg. So I'm just kind of working my way up like this. Well, as I was looking at the horse and I got over here and I thought about, well, I could just go on up and do this person, it hit me. I was planning on doing the moon after I finished everything else because I wanted to do it in glow-in-the-dark thread. And you can see I have part of the moon here. It hit me that in order to do the back stitching, I really need to have the moon done because look, all this back stitching goes on top of this moon. And up here, all this back stitching is gonna go on top of the moon. And this whole thing here is back stitched. All the flames and everything of this pumpkin that's flaming, that's all back stitched. And guess what? In order to back stitch all that well, you gotta have whatever part is behind, in front of the moon, you gotta have the moon done. So I bit the bullet, and as you can tell, I took a small portion of the moon and I stitched it. And I took it into my dark storage closet without the light on to see if it glows in the dark. And it does. I'm so excited. It's not bright light, it's not like it just scares you to death. But the good part is that when I put it in really, really dim light, like if you had lights on outside or if you had, a sun coming up, and you had just a little bit of light in your room, these threads here glow quite well. They are bright and they reflect the light beautifully. So you see this and you see this. You see this a little better than you see that, but you can see that flaming pumpkin. So I think that is going to be super cool that when my son puts this up on his wall and it's just a tiny bit of daylight coming up through the window, or even if there's a light on outside at all, he'll be able to see this part in front of this big old moon. I think he's going to love that. That's going to be creepy and wonderful. He loves horror movies. So anyway, I'm really happy with it. I have lots of back stitching left to do. I have to finish the whole bottom part hasn't been back stitched as far as the tombstones down here and the grass. But I also have to finish back stitching the horse and the main character and this moon, and then starting right here down on the whole border has to be back stitched. And then there is cryonic and beads all woven through this border. So I still have a lot of stitching to do. It just looks like it's getting finished because the main piece is done. So I'm excited about it, but I think at this point, knowing the moon is going to work, knowing my plan on how I'm going to attack it, I think it's time for me to put this away and go ahead and finish my AB Singo and let that be a wrap for the month and get that out of the way today. And then I'm going to do something fun. Want to hear about it? I have made up my mind that I've had new patterns coming in. People have gifted me things. I've purchased a few things over the last year. And a year ago, I sat down and picked out what I wanted to stitch this year. And I put the majority of those new things that I really wanted to start this year on my Whipco board. And that's how I got them started. And so far, I've had about 27 finishes, not gangbusters, but some of them are fairly large, and some of them were whips I'd had for a long time, like Giggles in the Snow. So I think with all the changes, with all the new things that have come out, and with the fact that I have moved to a new house that has wall space, I need to relook at what I had planned to stitch. And I need to pick out things to stitch for my house. Things that I want to put in the living room or the hallway or the kitchen or whatever. So I need to look at my patterns and my possibilities with a different set of eyes, with a different focus. And so I want to do that. And I want to go through everything. I just want to lay everything out, whether it's kitted or not, whether it had been identified to get started or not. And I may even pull out some magazines and books and look through those again, because I haven't done that in a long time. And now I'm in this group called Magazine Monthly Challenge that encourages you to stitch from your magazines. And I'm tempted to do it now rather than later, because I've already been challenged by a friend of mine who came to visit. Her name is Melody, and she came and stitched with me Thursday. And she asked me a question. What's going to be my birthday start this year? I hadn't even thought about it. So I always try to come up with something each year that you guys can, if you want to, do to celebrate with me, whether it be a theme that you stitch on or, some idea, not necessarily a particular pattern, because I know my tastes aren't always everyone else's taste. I don't tend to do everything, the stitch-alongs and things that people do as a group. They don't always, meet what I'm looking to do for my house or whatever. And since I am a process stitcher and I stitch everything either as a gift or to be put up in my home, that changes how I stitch. I stitch things that I know I'm going to use. So I think it's time to look through everything, decide what I might want to put on my Whipco board for next year, and what I want to start for next year, and what I want to start for my birthday start. I always try to have a birthday start or some process that I'm doing, a finish or a start for my birthday. And then I try to have a new year, new start, and I need to go ahead and start focusing on those. So I know it's a little early. It's just the end of September, but considering I want to go through magazines and books and everything else, I'll probably just plot out a little plan where I do some of the research first, and then one day I'm going to sit down and lay everything out so I can see it. And then I have baskets that I will populate. Whip Go, anything else in the year that I'm going to start for special occasions, and then all the other stuff that's going to be stitched someday, I hope. So I will be happy to share that with you when I get that done, but I just wanted to give you the idea and I guess to put a little bug in your ear to be thinking of what you would like to do if you like to do a new year, new start, or if you want to be part of the Whip Go plan for next year. Be thinking about what you might want to do and look through your stash. Do some shopping in your stash. Anyway, I hope in the meantime you have a great stitching week and our weekend now because it's Saturday. And I'll be back as soon as I have anything to share with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina, and today is the 28th of September, and we are almost into October. Pretty excited. Pretty excited. Let's talk about Whip Go. Numbers were pulled, of course, on the 27th by J.C. Marie, and they were number 5 and number 11. And I'll show you my Whip Go board. I had already done both of them. So now I can just color them blue. I just went over them with a light blue pencil to give you the idea. I'll go to my computer and convert those very quickly. I've also substituted out for a real snow job, that I abandoned and adopted out. And instead I inserted a new start for that, and I've met that one as well. So that one will be colored blue. And that means when that happens, I'll have a bingo across here. I'll have a bingo down here. Pretty exciting. 2 more bingos, yay. I'm excited to see that. I do have my Mermaid to stitch for Whip Go, which I stitched on it, as you know, for my AB Singo, but I don't think I've shared that with y'all. I need to do that. But I won't make half the border. So that one won't get done. I won't have a blackout this year. But I do have 10 hours to stitch on Crystal Christmas. And so I need to squeak that one in. But I can wait till it's called, actually, and not have anything hard to worry about. Okay, so got those numbers, and I've already stitched it, so that gives me a little freedom. So what did I do with that freedom? Well, I'll tell you. Sister Stephanie, look away. I have something I've been working on just recently. It hit me that I needed to do this. I wanted to, and so I was looking for something very, very specific, and I found it. So you'll understand when you see it. But my sister has one of these. So I changed the color because the original version looked slightly different. It was a different color. I'll see if I can find it really quickly for you guys. Thanks for your patience. This is what the original looks like, and I changed mine for a particular reason, as you can see. I also did my own colors. I will put my conversion below, but I did not have the called for colors, and I wanted to get this done right away out of my stash. So I pulled Chives, which was overdyed by the Gentle Arts, and then this beautiful main piece here I did in a silk, and it's silken colors, and the color is Ginger Snap. And in here it's highly variegated. Here not so much. I don't know why. It's, I guess, too small to really see, but I had really hoped the variegation would show up a lot in there, and on camera it's not showing even as much as it does in person. But then I added my own embellishments here. This is what I had in my stash, and this at the top as well. I wanted for 3-dimension instead of stitching it. I just wanted to attach that. So I will fully finish this soon. Okay, Stephanie, you can look back now. Thank you for indulging me. So I had a surprise. What does Gary call it? Start and finish. He has a particular word for that, and I can't think of it right now. But that was unexpected, and it was mainly because I pulled my whip go chart out and realized I didn't have to worry about heavy stitching for the whip go numbers this month. And I thought, well, I really need to get that done because I wanted to. I just hadn't found it. So I went looking and found it and stitched it, and now I can fully finish it, and I'll have that ready to go. I think that's the big news that I have for you today. Was my surprise. Happy stitching, everybody. Enjoy your week, and I hope to be back with you soon. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's still September 28th. I just was able to get back up here in my stitching room for a little bit. I wanted to go ahead, as promised, and show you my Theresa Wensler piece that I had on my AB Singo board for 2 prompts. I had M for Mermaid, which was the last one called, and I also had it for W for Theresa Wensler. Anyway, I had stitched on it and forgot to really show you. I got interrupted with life and didn't get to share that with you. So I wanted to go ahead and do that today so you would know for sure I had done it in the month of September. I wasn't fudging anything. Let me share with you what that pattern looks like in case you hadn't seen it in a while. Beautiful, just beautiful, beautiful colors. Every time I work on it, I love it and love it more, and then I realize how long it's going to take me to do it. It's going to take a long time. This is probably my equivalent to a full coverage height. It's not full coverage. There's a few open spaces, but I will tell you it is, well, maybe it is full coverage. It is full coverage. There's not a single open spot. I just realized, I think even the clouds here are stitched. So if that's the case, it is full coverage. Anyway, this time when I stitched on it, I had to get 100 stitches for the letter W, and then just a little bit later I had to get 100 stitches for the letter M, and I hadn't done the W yet. So I went ahead and just decided I'd do both of them at the same time. So I wound up I went back and looked on my chart. I keep a chart for the month, and I write down all the stitches I do on each project, and then I update my little cards on my projects with the number of stitches, so that when I finish it, or not number of stitches, but time that I've spent, hours that I've spent stitching. So at the end, I know just about how long it took me to get that piece done. So I decided I would stitch on it and get the 2 prompts, and I did. But you know me, I either stitch to the end of the thread, or if I've set a small goal for myself, I go ahead till I meet it. So that's what I did in this. There were 9 colors that I stitched to completion across the top border. 9. And all that accomplished was to finish the shell inside each of these little scoops. I'll show you in a second here what I'm talking about. And that doesn't even include back stitching because they've all got to be back stitched. But here's where I got to. I did the inside of these all the way across. And it was 9 different colors. Talk about color changing. They averaged 4 stitches, 3 or 4 stitches per shell per color. Yeah. And I didn't want to carry it all the way. I'm saving my thread as much as possible because these are all blends. Every single one of those 9 colors was a blend. And so rather than waste any of that traveling across the back, even though it's full coverage, I tied it off and started over to make the thread go as far as possible. But isn't that lovely? I'm trying to get you enough light to see it. I'm really, really pleased with it. It's very pretty. So when I come back to it, I have 3. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 more colors to do to finish that part of the border. Yay! Next time I stitch on it, hopefully I can complete at least that section and maybe even start on this medallion. I might could get that done this year, I don't know. But instead of half of it, maybe I could get a 1/4 of it, you know, meet half my goal anyway for Whip Go. I think it's lovely. I want to share something about this chart with you. I thought it was interesting because the back stitching on this chart, each of these shells across here are back stitched the same. All the little sections of the shell are back stitched, but the pattern only shows you the back stitching on the first one. The rest of these, the back stitching isn't shown, just an outline of the whole thing. And I think they did that so you can see the colors and the symbols the best, because under the first one that I did, I could hardly see the symbols. I was struggling because the back stitching was charted right on top of it. So when I looked at the second one, I thought, this is odd. There's no back stitching except around the outer side of the shell. And then it hit me. Oh, that's so I can see. So that was kind of neat. I like it. It's a repetitive pattern, and so they've only shown the back stitching on the first. And that way I can look at any one of the others and see exactly what colors I need and where. Really cool. I'm really liking this. It's very pretty. It's moving slow. I apologize, but it's just the way it is. It's extremely confetti heavy. Extremely. And so it takes longer, you know, to do a small amount. Anyway, that's my mermaid. So how did my AB Singo turn out? Well, here you are. I got them all, and today is the 28th and I'm finished. So I'm tickled to death. It allowed me to stitch on a number of projects, and I'm really happy about that. I advanced several of them far enough, much further than I thought I would. I got a finish on Giggles in the Snow and on Field Mouse Hollow, and I didn't expect that until the end of the year, maybe. And that was just wonderful. So I'm really, really happy with it. Thank you to Robin and Carolyn for creating this AB Singo, and I'm looking forward to Bringo in January. So I'll be making plans to participate in that for sure. Alrighty, I am going to tell you good night. It's a little bit late here. I didn't get back up here until much later. I had lots of little errands to do with my family today. Had to run to the grocery store, and I had to accompany my son to an appointment, and my husband took me out to dinner, and so lots went on today. We didn't get to work on the deck. It got dark before we got home. So tomorrow I'll be putting in double duty on that deck, I assure you. We've got to get it scraped and ready to paint. So this is a cute story, though, I have to tell you. Two things. One, today I was in here actually studying for a women's Bible study in the morning. I was doing my lesson, and I got a text from my husband, and it was a picture of Coco sitting in the front yard looking out toward the mailbox, and he's sitting next to her in the yard, and his caption under the text said, "I love sitting out in the front yard in the shade with my dad, waiting on the mail truck so I can chase the mail lady away." And she does. She barks at her every time. She just barks at mail trucks. Doesn't matter where they are. Doesn't matter who the drivers are. She just don't like a mail truck. Don't know why. Anyway, the second funny thing is my son and I were coming back from his appointment today, and as we came through the neighborhood, all of a sudden he said, "Look, there's Dad and Coco." And I looked a little on further down the street, and there was my husband sitting in the yard of a neighbor's who have a new puppy named Loki, and he and Coco are now about the same size. I think he's going to be bigger than her because he's still pretty young, but he is about her size right now, and they were having a blast. They were running and jumping and playing and chasing each other and having a great time, and my husband was just sitting in there on the side of that yard watching them play and talking to Loki's owner, and they were waving at me, and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" It was like having the kids playing out in the yard. It was so cute. My son got a big kick out of it. He doesn't get to see her play like that very much, because he's at work when we take her walking and she sees other puppies and things like that. So what a treat. What a treat for him to get to see her just frolicking and bouncing and playing and jumping on Loki and Loki jumping on her and then playing with each other. It was priceless. I just slowed down, and we took as long as we could to get by so we could watch them play. So that was my joy. That was my joy for today. It was lovely. All right, I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing. I'm going to go hit the hay, and I will start over tomorrow. I showed you my finish earlier, my surprise finish. Tomorrow, I'm going to hopefully start my Queen of the Needle, and I'm going to try to finish it by the end of the month if I can. So that's my big push. I have, just a couple of days left. 2 days left, the 29th and the 30th. So I need to get some work on that. But I hope you're enjoying what you're working on. If you're a planner, I would look forward to hearing your plans of what you're going to do for the month of October. And in the meantime, everybody, happy stitching. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Dina, and it is the 30th of September. I am thrilled to be able to come back and tell you how I'm closing out my month of September. Well, I've been working really hard. I wanted to finish Queen of the Needle. This is a delightful little Brenda Gervais that my friend Glo and I started together, and it was a gift from her for us to stitch it together. And she finished hers well before I did, but I did finish mine today. So I started it on the 4th of September. And I did not have the called for threads that were asked for by Brenda Gervais. Hers were Overdyes, Weeks Dye Works, and Gentle Arts, and Classic Color Works. And I didn't have the ones that they called for, and I didn't want to wait to start it, so I did the DMC equivalents to all that I had. But for her dress, for that beautiful variegated blue dress, I just went into my silks and I found this beautiful Karen Water Lilies that I had called Polar Ice. Look at that variegation. Isn't that beautiful? And that's what I stitched my dress in for my Queen of the Needle. And here's my finish. And it's striped beautifully. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, there she is. And I changed the color of the dog, even from the DMC equivalent, to make it a little bit of a lighter color. It was a darker color, and it had spots, the same color as her shoes. And my dog doesn't have spots. So I changed it up to look a little more like Coco's color. I made my little Coco there with her fluffy tail curled over. Like their pattern was very close to Coco. All I did was change the color. I love the way that the thread is just looping through the needle, and that needle is 1/1. But I'm just really enjoying it. I thought it was a great stitch. It's a small little thing. Look how tiny that is. I'll have lots of fabric left over. This is a Picture This Plus 32 count Tycho or Tycho. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's Tycho. And it is a beautiful neutral. Just lovely. Reminds me a little bit of Queen Anne's lace. But anyway, I have stitched on that little tiny corner of it. So I'll trim that off, and I'll have another nice piece to do, you know, something else on. Look at that, how much I got left. But I just loved that background. I thought that was the perfect background for the piece. So I end my month with a finish. I'm very excited about that. So I mentioned in my previous filming, which you may see at the end of this video because it's planning, and it's a fairly good bit of planning, so I think I'm gonna put it at the end in case that's not your favorite thing to watch. Then you could skip it. But in my planning that you'll see next, I talk about what I'm gonna do the rest of this month, which was September, and one of them was finished Queen of the Needle. And then I also talked about plans for the upcoming months. Since filming that, get my notes too. Since filming that, I have seen a video from Julie McConnell from Reflections, Framing, and Stitching, and she is talking about a challenge that she's sponsoring called Out of the Stash at Last. And it is a challenge for you to take something either out of your whips or out of your stash that you've had at least 2 years, that it's at least 2 years since you've worked on it, or at least it's 2 years old, and or you've had it in your stash for at least 2 years and you want to get it started. So I have picked something for myself to start today, and I'm sorry, start tomorrow, because it starts on the 1st. And I'm looking for, here it is. I've got it kitted up, ready to go. I have an old magazine that I have had since 2011. And I have been wanting to do this ornament since 2011. I'm not sure which picture is the better for you to see, so I'll show it here and then I'll open it and show it there. But this ornament is made to look like a little pocketbook, which I thought was precious. And so I have found the pattern for it, and this picture may be just a little bit bigger. I'll try to hide that. That's the pattern itself. But this is the pocketbook right there. That's an ornament That's the back side. They just put their name or initials in the year that they stitched it. But all of this is stitched, and these are beads made to look like the little clasp. And I just think they're precious. And I've wanted to do it for a while. And so this challenge is giving me what I need to get started with it. So I am doing mine. I didn't have any of that brown speckled, fabric. So instead, I'm doing mine on a blue fabric because I want it to look like a beautiful winter sky. So this is fabric from Idle Hands Ink in Houston, Texas. I'm not sure who actually got it at Idle Hands Ink. I didn't. Mine came as a gift. Someone has sent it to me, mailed it to me, something. But it is 28 count denim blue Joblin. And I think that's gonna make a great winter sky. And I've done a floss toss, and I'm gonna try to show you some of the colors here. I don't have them on a ring yet, and so they'll be a little bit harder to see, but there's some of the darker gold and green, and then these are so pretty. You've got various reds and another green, and you've got a gray, a peach, and a blue, and this beautiful gold. But the interesting part is you're supposed to use some Krynic on these houses. And I don't have Krynic the colors, so what I did instead is my son gifted me some Threadworks threads one Christmas, and he did them in Christmas colors, green, red, and blue. And I'm supposed to use a blue and a red Krynic in this piece. And I think I'm going to use these two. I may even substitute my green, one of my greens, for this, just because I think it will look so pretty. And after all, it is a Christmas ornament, so it is supposed to be sparkly, don't you think? Anyway, that is going to be my new start for October, the first week of October. And the way this works, if I understand it correctly, Julie, please correct me if I'm wrong. Go watch her video that's a special edition, because that's where she explains it. But basically, you put a picture up on the first, which is going to be the Friday of the first week. Starts the first week from Friday to Friday, and you work on it during the week, and then on that next Friday, you put up a picture of it on your hashtag. She has a hashtag, out of the stash at last 2021. On Instagram, and you put it up there and you label it, beginning picture week 1, ending picture week 1, beginning picture week 2. So each week you put in your record of beginning and ending of that week and the beginning of the next week, and then that end of that next week you'll do the same thing, your beginning picture again and then your ending picture. If you do that every week, Julie's going to do a drawing for a $15 gift certificate to her cross-stitch store. I mean, that's awesome. So I am planning on starting this ornament for week 1. For week 2, I am planning on starting a Foxwood Crossing sleigh for my husband. I've had that for a couple of years. The pattern's even older than that. I've had the sleigh for a couple of years. I've had the pattern longer than that. But it's going to be hopefully a Christmas present for my husband this year, and I need to get it started. So it'll probably be my new start for my second week. And then for my week 3, I have one more of those ornaments from Foxwood Crossing that I want to do as a companion piece for the first one. I'd love to get both of them done for Christmas, so I want to start that one. And the final of the four is going to be Sleepy Hollow. That will be my whip that is over 2 years old, and I want to work on it because I'm trying to push it to a finish. So I'll probably make that my week 4. We'll see. Anyway, that's my plan, and I'm very excited about that. Oh, I forgot to show you the magazine. I mentioned it was the 2011 Christmas Ornament magazine, but that's what it looks like. I think I did show you maybe the picture on the front. It was just hard to see. So haven't lost my memory completely anyway. Pretty close, but not completely. So there you have it. I'm excited about doing this and getting it stitched up, getting it started tomorrow. So wish me luck on that. And I have to now go and see about posting my Stitch from Stash by tomorrow. Try to get it done by tomorrow. I got to make sure I got everything recorded in there, and I can get started on my new start in the morning. Yay! Well, I hope you're doing well. I'm probably going to stop here. I may even have to cut my planning portion in half. I may have to stop that along the way because it's quite a good lengthy little piece, and I don't want this video to be too terribly long. So I may have to put it in part 1 and part 2, but I'll get that up as soon as I can, and I will talk to you soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Here we are entering the living room. You can see we have a seating area there, sort of in the forefront and in the background. You see Coco's toy. But what I wanted to show you was the mantle. I got it decorated. There's my Jumpin' Jack Frost there in front of the logs because we haven't turned those on, haven't needed them. And then up on top of the mantle, you see my Pumpkin Spice Farm. And then my lovely pillow that was gifted to me, Gather a Harvest of Love. And there is the Saturday Evening Post. Sorry, the glare of the light is on that piece. There you go. That sort of has front and center right now until I put my witch up there for Halloween. There's my the Drawn Thread Autumn Garden, and there's my alphabet pumpkin, and then there's Be Thankful there, and then permanently on the wall is another Norman Rockwell Saturday Evening Post cover you've seen before, the stitcher, the cross stitcher. And then the only other cross stitching here right now is my Nantucket Rose. She's over here. There you go, on that wall. And so that's the living room mantle. I wanted to share that with you. It's one of the areas we got photos up in. And I'll take you to the dining room next and show you that.
What's up? Coco is obsessed with the new toilet. She thinks if we put it down, she won't have to go outside to potty anymore. What do you think? You like it? Is it yours? Okay. Coco's toilet.